Okay. Again, welcome to the first ever Referrals to Riches retreat. My name is Miley Comer, and I'm so excited for us to have this time together to work strategically on our referral marketing game plan. So you all should have your playbook so you can follow along and have those reference points. And we'll be talking and interacting. So I want this to be fun. I want this to be interactive. I have an agenda for us to go through, some points. We're going to get through all 8 elements over the 3 days and dive deeper at certain points so we can get into some action steps and how we're going to implement. Because as one of my clients likes to say, Miley is boots on the ground, because I don't want to just talk theories. I want us to have things that we can actually do in our business so we can get those results. And as one of my mentors, Ivan Meisner, says, if you're not having fun, then you're not doing it right. So we're going to hopefully have some good times together as well. Welcome, Jay. Good to see you. Welcome, Jessica. And David, you got connected to audio. I'm so excited. Good job.
You know, I'm doing two things at once. I know you didn't want to hear the other conversation I was having.
All right.
But thanks for being patient.
Yes. Welcome. So we are going to get to know each other. We're going to do some breakouts. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to dive deeper into our referral marketing strategies. So first, I want us to think about what is it that we want? Where are we going and what are we working towards? And so first I have it's page 6 and 7 in your playbook is your vision for growth. I always think it's a great idea when we are working on something in our business or showing up to an event or attending even a one-to-one meeting or anything that we're doing, if we have an intention, right? So having an intention, hopefully you had an intention for what you wanted to accomplish by being here this weekend, and have ideas of what your intentions are for your business. And hopefully everybody did their goals for the year and is excited about what is coming forward. So there's just some questions there in your playbook on your vision for growth that you can look at and go, okay, this will help me focus in on where I want to go. And then how does what you're learning this weekend fit into helping you get to where you want to go? And who do you need on your team to get there faster and have more fun doing it? Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot of those elements. Welcome, Monica. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thanks. Had a challenge getting in.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you see my email?
I did, but I was clicking on all the other ones. I saw yours last, and it's just a continual loop. So,
anyway.
I'm here.
Well, I'm
sorry, folks.
I'm glad you made it. Thank you for making the extra effort. Okay, so let's think about our intentions for what your own intention for what you want for this weekend and for your business and for your referral marketing, and what your goals are and how this can play a role in how you're going to get to where you want to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do our first breakout room. And I want you to just get to know each other a little bit and share like one goal or intention when it comes to your referral marketing. Okay. So I'm going to set up some breakout rooms and give you some time to get to know each other. I'm going to, let's see. I'm I'm going to give you about 7 minutes, okay? Just to share, get to know each other a little bit and share some intentions and goals around your referral marketing.
How many are you putting in each room?
Approximately 2 to 3.
2 to 3. Okay, so we each have 2 to 3 minutes.
Most people should have 2 to the room.
Oh, 2 minutes. Okay,
Two-
that helps to,
2 people to the room, so that's,
Yeah.
3-4 minutes.
we have plenty of
7
time.
minutes. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go. And let me just double check. I'm going to put. Sorry, I'm going to move some things around.
You're wizarding us into rooms.
I think you have to say.
We have to say
You have
yes.
to- You have to accept it. Yep. There you go. And here everybody comes back.
Nice.
Did you meet some good people or a good person?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Awesome. So I would love to hear some of your goals and intentions. So this is where you can open up your mic and share.
I could start. People
Yeah.
hesitated, so I'm going to start. So what I need to do is be really intentional about reconnecting with my power partners and naming who they are, and getting back into the discipline of everything we learn in Certified Networker to really show them the value they are and strengthen our relationships so that we could all do better.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so I'll share. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, you guys had your hands up. Go ahead.
Oh, so I agree with everything that Ronnie said. I just want to add that I want to be more, increase my number of strategic one-to-ones and things like that, and go outside of my, my BNI chapter and the people that I know in Marin County, but also visit other BNI chapters and get to know other people to expand my network.
Great. And maybe what we can do is if you want to just raise your hand, if you use the reactions button, then you can raise your hand and then the Zoom will put us in order so we can go in an orderly fashion. So if you'd like to share, go ahead and raise your hand. And ooh, DB up first, David.
Check me out. Just some of the goals that I'm looking for are really just establishing some new referral partner relationships and, being focused on that. I mean, I have some ideas or some introductions that have been made, but I need to push forward to help, create those relationships and provide value to those folks.
Great. Focus on giving. That's one of our great mindsets. All right, Anna.
So I have been working very hard at meeting a lot of people. And I would like, the question in my mind is, okay, what next? I would like a strategy, a plan for for strengthening relationships with certain people as opposed to others, if that makes sense.
Okay, great. Totally makes sense. I get it. Thank you, Anna. Monica.
There we go. Yeah, so I have a network. I need to I'm working on reconnecting, but I am also, I feel like I need to be more strategic and who I'm reaching out to and how I'm reaching out to them. So that part is really important for me. And I've also got to be, I'm still not all out running around. I'm just too many people, the COVID thing, I'm not paralyzed, but I'm definitely not out as much as I would have been pre-COVID. So it's doing it through different means. And I think my big challenge now too is doing it quicker when I'm reconnecting, because it always turns into this hour-long conversation, which I think is not necessarily the most efficient, at least in the beginning.
Okay. Are you having those hour-long conversations with new people or people you know already?
People I know already, I just haven't talked to them.
Okay.
It's one thing you have a lot of contacts, but keeping up with that's a job in itself. Just when life's going along. Now I'm in a business where I need to do it more so.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Yep. Good. Yes. Maintenance. That's a project in itself, right? Okay. So we will talk about that. Beautiful. Thank you, Monica. Desiree.
So I talked to hundreds of people in the last 2 years and did one-to-ones and all of that. I was able to help a lot of people. I would like to focus on more reciprocal relationships, because I don't have a problem giving. And I'm teaching as a president of my BNI, I'm teaching how to give based on my experience and the experience of other professionals. But I would like people to understand that we're active, when we're getting together, we're there to help each other in some way, even if it's a referral source versus a client, some connection that could help that person. So I'm wanting reciprocal partnerships, more of those, and the ones I have that do sometimes refer me to get that, encourage them to do more. So I know that sounds a little selfish, but I have given a lot this last couple of years. And so I really want to focus in on people who want to get back.
Absolutely. And that is really important. And you're starting in the right place with the giving, and we're definitely going to talk about that more. And if you are giving a lot and not receiving, that is definitely why a lot of my clients come to me, so they can get that reciprocal. So you're in the right place. Fantastic. And I'll just shout out to Desiree right now. The reason that I know Jay Alba, who is also in the room, is through Desiree. So so she made a connection to oh gosh, what was the name?
Her name's Autumn.
Autumn. I knew it started with the A. Autumn in Las Vegas, and Autumn introduced me to Jay, and that's been fabulous. Okay, Gurjeet, what would you like to share?
Yes, hi everyone. First of all, very grateful to be here. And I know that many of us want to multiply ourselves, and we find ourselves, single-handedly trying to handle everything. But having said that, what my intention really is to get to know a strategic plan where there's no trial and error, but the way you could formulate a partnership with the referral partners that you hope to collaborate with. I just need like a step-by-step strategy where you can create an irresistible approach to them, so that they just say, oh wow, there's so much value, we definitely want to collaborate and want to refer people to you. So just that one thing, how to get to them and have them say yes. And the second thing is to develop a system where when they become your referral partners, how to manage the system So you're not making mistakes, and how it's automated. So you know who's referring you and how many people they're sending you. And if you've developed sort of affiliate relationship with them, then how much you have to give them, and all that is all automated, and you're not making mistakes. So these are the two things I'm looking for.
Okay. So step by step, and getting them to say yes to partnership, and monitoring or tracking the reciprocal process. Okay, fantastic. All right, anyone else want to share anything or anything that came up while they were listening to other people? Ginger.
Yeah, I think my reaction went away.
Oh,
Everybody
okay.
had such great input. I need to tighten up my process. It's been a little bit too informal, I think, and so I need a tight process that's trackable. That does include, like someone else mentioned, a way of teaching people how to be reciprocal, because sometimes they just don't get it. You have to be very overt and straightforward about what your intention is, and then be very delicate / gentle, but again, overt in telling them what you expect back from them. So that's a difficult conversation sometimes, because they don't think about it.
Right. Well, there's a few things in there, Ginger, that is very common, and we all understand these things. It's like I was in a room of my certified networkers, and sometimes we're just like, I wish other people got it, right? So one of the things that I put in the confirmation email was to remember to invite your referral relationships that you're working on to be here in the room with you. So when you get that referral marketing training side by side here together, then it's so much easier to have those referral conversations about expectations and how you can reciprocate when they understand more of the referral process. So one of the things that my clients learn as they go along is the more they can get their referral partners in their room, the easier it is to play the referral game, because there's a understanding, and everybody else, it's just an easier conversation. So I'll give a shout out to James Wu today, because James brought 3. He's got a few people here. So I know James brought Nicole, and he brought Mika, and so he did not come alone, which is great, right? So it helps us with that process. All right. Any other shares? Okay.
Yes, I would like to share.
Yes, Deborah.
I'm trying to get my lighting here together, and it looks like right now it's too light, but I'll get this together. But I changed. I do this frequently, but I think it's good to have a change of purpose in why you want to do what you want to do, and because it's an evolution process as far as I'm concerned. It's evolving constantly. So for me now, in thinking about it and listening, it's more about accountability, with strategizing in a way that allows me to have accountability partners and concepts staying in my head on a constant basis. And so when you're talking about it, when you're thinking about it, when you're working on it constantly, you have accountability in that way. And that's going to make me a better referral partner for someone else. And it's going to allow me to train my referral partners.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the whole immersion process. So immersing yourself in a referral environment with other people who are talking about it and talking about their strategies and how they're implementing certain things, and having that mindset together, and it just breeds more ideas, right? You get more ideas, you get, and then you start having more opportunities because you've sparked all these ideas, and you get to help each other at a deeper level as well. So that's lovely. So definitely finding someone to partner with is really valuable, to have someone else that you can work on these concepts with. So one of the things I want to talk about is our agreements. So this weekend, and in most of my programs, what we're doing is we're spending the time to work on our business, right? So there's so much that we do in our business where we're working in our business. We are doing the things we have to get done to serve our clients and bring in more clients, and we're in the doing. And this weekend is all about having that time to work on your business, to get that clarity around your strategy. So when you get busy, you're get in the doing, it's more purposeful. And what you're doing, is going to lead you to the results that you desire, and is taking you towards that vision you have. Because sometimes we can just get busy in the doing, and it's kind of, we're on a treadmill instead of running, the marathon, getting to a destination, right? Getting to the finish line. So we want to have this time to work on our business, have that clarity. So when we hit Monday, we have a clearer focus and direction, and know the steps that they're going to take to get where we want. And we know that the things we're going to do are going to move us forward where we want to go. So some of the agreements that we have when we're working on our business and working on how we're going to do our business is to have an environment in this room and with each other that allows us to have that space for learning and for growth, right? So this is not the place where we have to be perfect and show our A game and just be on all the time. This is where we get to practice and play and experiment and test things out, and have that space to create our ideas and see how we want to implement it and what we want to do with it. So I know so much of how we interact oftentimes in the world is to put this perfect picture of ourselves living our best life and being all successful and doing all of that. And of course, we want to have a professional image, and we want to have ourselves be put together and present well. And we need that time and space to allow us to get there, to allow us to be able to do that. So this is the space where it's okay to not be perfect, where you get to test things out and just explore and be open. So our agreements are being open to that possibility, to giving yourself grace, to trusting the process, right? Just trust the process. And there is a bit of confidentiality of sharing your experience versus, sharing others and letting them have their experience. And being in a place of judgment-free, right? We're here to support each other and capture the good and help one another. Okay, so let's create that supportive environment, and just know that you have the space to express your growth and to figure it out. Okay. Any, especially from some of my experienced folks, any other things you want to comment about agreements and how we are here? It's okay if you don't. Okay. If you have any thoughts, feel free to share. And the chat is open if you want to put ideas in the chat, or if there's something that caught that you heard someone say or heard me say that you think, oh, that's a good nugget, you can put that in the chat. And the other thing, I want you to build your network. So we're going to be doing several breakouts, and I want you to get to know each other. And I also want you to connect with each other. So feel free to private chat someone if you want to say, hey, can we set up a time to get to know each other outside of this environment so we can continue the conversation. I encourage you to do that. And who knows my mantra? Who knows my mantra? Book a meeting from a meeting.
From a meeting.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I want to talk about, okay, so before we get into all 8 elements, there's some foundational pieces that I want us to talk about. And 8 elements, as we're going to go through each and every one. And one of the things I want to do is kind of give you a simple kind of framework. So there's mindset, preparation, and teamwork. So if we're going to kind of put everything into a simple way of thinking about this, it's mindset, preparation, and teamwork. So with our mindset, when we're thinking about building business or relationships and referrals, one of the important mindset is that we're looking at the long game, right? So relationships take time to build. Trust takes time to earn. And most of us, hopefully, plan on being in business for the long term. So it really is the long game plan. And what's great about it is, sure, there's some work to do at the beginning, to ramp things up. But once you have been doing this for some time, it builds and it gets easier to maintain. And that's the vision we're going for. So it does take time to develop relationships. Welcome, Earth. I'm so glad you got here. Yay. So it can take some time, but we're focused on the long game. Okay, because those can be so much more rewarding, and they're so much easier to maintain. When we get those referral sources that are just sending us referral after referral like clockwork, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So it can take some time to ramp up, but then the maintenance is easier, and it's enjoyable along the way, because what makes life enjoyable is our interactions with other people, right? It makes it worth it. So think about that. Think about your mindset. Think about, so another part of our mindset is the law of reciprocity, right? Is the giving, coming from a giving mindset. When we give first, we will receive. And there is a physical pull. So when we give, right, when we give, that creates that almost physical reaction of a desire to reciprocate. So if you think of the other way, when you receive, when someone's giving to you, we kind of have this knee-jerk reaction that we want to give back. We want to reciprocate. So that law of reciprocity is key. So one of the things that I see is a big mistake a lot of people make when they are trying to network and trying to go to all these meetings and just meet a bunch of people, is that they're not looking at what they can do to contribute, what they do to give. They're looking with the mindset of what can I get? And if we just flip that to, okay, what can I give? Right? And how can I help? And, Desiree was talking about this. She does a great job of that. She is definitely a giver. And she's thinking of all these different ways. And there's more than one way to give. So if we can flip the way that we think about how we're entering these rooms, how we are approaching meetings, and how we're approaching the relationship building is of a giving mindset and thinking, how can I help this person, right? What can I do that's going to be of value to them, that's going to support them? And it doesn't have to have anything to do with our business, right? And oftentimes those are the more even more valued gives is when you're giving something that's not related to your business, right? So having that giving mindset, and we're going to talk about that more and the value you bring to your referral network as we go along. So when we think about mindset, we want to think about also the abundant possibility. So one of the things that I see people, they have kind of a nearsightedness. So they are thinking, oh, there's only so many people in this room. That's only so many, but there's magic in the numbers. Okay. So even if you're in a room of only 4 people, right, there's still exponential possibility because each one of those people has influence with typically 150 to 250 people, right, has real influence. And then how many of you have more than 250 Facebook friends or LinkedIn connections, right? So it's even greater than that, the possibility, but really those deeper, more valuable connections, even if it's 150 to 250. So just say, take the middle and say 200, right? There's 200 possibilities of connections from each one of those people. So I think sometimes we're a little nearsighted and we're like, oh, there's only like 4 people here today. The advantage is there's an opportunity for deeper connection and getting through and getting the people that they know to be connected to you, right? So there's a abundant of opportunity. There's an abundant of people that we can build strategic referral relationships with. The possibilities are out there. And I think, we all have experienced since we've been on Zoom during the pandemic that we can meet with. I had a one-to-one with earlier this week with a gentleman in Germany, right? So and my accountability partner in Sweden. So there's all these possibilities to expand, and it's endless. There are so many possibilities and so many things. So we want to have that abundant mindset. And we want to build our connections wide, and then we want to really focus on those key connections that we want to go deep. So those are some of our mindset points I think we want to come in to look at is mindset. So mindset, preparation, and teamwork, and we're going to continue to go into all of that. Okay. Let's look at our referral network. So let's get into a little bit more of the on the ground strategy. So in your playbook, there is an image of concentric circles, the circles that go like this. And this is a key visual that I use over and over. And we have these concentric circles, and the overall, all of those circles together, it represents your referral network. Okay. Your referral network and all the people who are in your referral network. And people are placed at different places. What we're looking at is having a more conscious level of knowing where certain people are in your circle, and then bringing some key folks towards the inner circle. So if you were going to label it, right, all of the people in all the circles are what I generically use the term referral source, right? So all those people are referral sources. So all those, they're a referral source because they can send you a referral. Now, some of them are have more opportunity to do that more frequently, and so they are, hopefully we're going to find some folks to come to the inner circle. But any person who could send you a referral, that's a referral source, and they're in your referral network. However, we want to be more strategic than going for everyone and anyone, right? So what can we do to bring it more focused? So the next rung in is what I call your contact sphere. Your contact sphere are those businesses and professions that are complementary to yours and not competing. So oftentimes you are serving the same target market or the same similar client, right? So you're having a similar conversation too. So the conversation is relevant. So those are your contact sphere professions. And so when we are strategically building our network, we want to meet all these fabulous people, but we're going to focus on the folks who have a related business that is speaking to a similar clientele, right? Because those are the key people we can really refer back and forth. So a majority of the referrals we give and a majority of the referrals we receive are going to be folks in our contact sphere. And those are really, I mean, this is a key core concept, is really establishing those contact sphere relationships and finding those people who you can exchange referrals with on a continuous basis. Anna, you have a question or comment?
I do have a question. So at what point, so I understand the concept and it's a very helpful concept. But I'm still, I'll meet with anybody, right? So I guess my question is do you ever not really meet with someone because they're not necessarily close enough to your, where you're practicing? Or, I mean, my approach has very much been, anybody that wants to meet with me, I'll meet with you at least once. But I'm kind of wondering, like I said, my goal here is to kind of be a little more strategic.
Mm-hmm.
So any clarity?
Absolutely. So here's the thing. Yes, I have a couple of thoughts on that. Okay. If you want to be more strategic, you want to focus on your contact sphere. And there's value in knowing people. So one of the things that I've taught before in my referral boot camp, and when we're talking about, especially when we're like back in the day before the pandemic, when we go to a networking mixer, I talked about referral, or the funneling conversation, right? A funneling conversation. So funneling conversation is when you are in a environment like a mixer, or just talking to people in general, could be in a random breakout room, right? Nowadays, is you're talking to someone and you're going to funnel the conversation. So there's some questions you can ask. Now, we all know what our funneling conversation is for a client, right? We know if we've got a prospect in front of us, there are questions that we want to ask to qualify them and walk them through our sales process to create, get them to be a client, right? So we have a funneling conversation in our sales process that gets to the heart of it to see if they are a great client for us, right? Or just, that prospect we can turn into a client. So I'm sure we all have had those conversations, or we get a referral and we're talking to that prospect and we're seeing if this really is a viable client for us, someone we want to work with. Okay. So that's one funneling conversation. But when you are networking, there's a lot more that you can have. So we all know that one. The other ones you can have is a funneling conversation to see, is this a good contact sphere member, right? And what I'm going to challenge you to do, Anna, is figure out what are those qualifying questions that you want to ask to see if they fit who you want in your inner circle and to work with as a referral partner. So sharpening your tools on what are those questions that you can ask to see if they're the right person. Because one of the great things about being a business owner is you get to choose who you hang out with. You get to choose who you partner with, right? You get to choose these things, right? So you have the opportunity. And whether we're in a informal conversation or if we're in a one-to-one, basically, and one of the things I say about one-to-ones is that first one-to-one is to see if you want to have another one-to-one, right? We can also shorten that and not have one-to-ones. We could do that in a funneling conversation if we tighten up some of our questions of what we're looking for. Now, some of the other funneling conversations we can have is we might have a funneling conversation to see if someone might be a great networking buddy. We might, who likes to go to events or likes to go to kind of same time and is a good, person to network together with. You can have a funneling conversation for a new golf buddy, right? A friend, right? A support person. It could be a funneling conversation to become a potential member of an organization you belong to. Maybe, your industry association or your BNI chapter or whatever that is. So you can have these funneling conversations to see where they fit and how you can have that relationship go to the next step and where you can help them and where they can help you and kind of categorize where they are. Anna.
So that's helpful. And I have definitely started to see that, and just asking the question, so who do you like to meet with, is very much a differentiator, because if they start telling me who their clients are, they're probably not great referral partners. But if they start telling me, who good referral connections are, then okay, maybe we've got something. But another question. So David, Ivan Meisner, I just listened to one of his podcasts about you never know who's in the room. Mm-hmm. And, he's always giving examples of a BNI person, the financial advisor thinks, oh, the Mary Kay person is never going to have a client for me. And lo and behold, her cousin turns out to be a huge client or something, right? Mm-hmm. So in BNI, the advice is to cast your net wide, and which is why my approach has been, okay, we'll talk to everybody. And I just had it yesterday, an IT guy has a connection for me. But I'm trying to be strategic. Mm-hmm. So do you have any comments on that? Cast your net wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what one of the things I just mentioned briefly. We want to build our network wide, and then we want to strategically find those people who we want to go deeper with. Number one, it always pays to be nice. I think that's my philosophy. I think it's always good to be nice. Okay. And because you do never know, and it's just nice to be nice. I just think it's a good way to go about things. Okay. Now, every now and again, there is someone that, you know, is going to get the not as nice side of me, but they, you know, but as a general rule, I think it pays to be nice. Now, so let's, you know, so I think it's okay that you've been out there, and you're also, Anna, working on building your network and building all the people you know. And what's going to happen is, so one of the things is we're starting out because, and if it's okay that I share, she just started at, when did you start at your company?
August of last year is when I moved.
August. Yeah. So she's still in that startup mode of just getting out there, being known and getting to know people, right? Building, right? And when you have more time than business, you have that opportunity to talk to more people and to talk to as many people. And we want to get you more focused. I agree. I love that you're asking this strategic question. So you want to look at your calendar and making sure that you're balancing your activities, that you're having time for the different things. And if you have time to do more one-to-ones with whomever, that's okay. That's a choice you can make. And I think we're going to get more focused on who are those key people. And because there's quality in the quantity. So right now you're getting in the quantity to find the quality, right? So when you only know a few people, right, it's harder to find a couple of key people when you only know a few people. But if you know tons of people, then like it's easier to find, oh, that's a quality person, and that's a quality person, and that's a quality person. So I think your approach is excellent, right? You're getting out there, you're meeting all these people, you're getting the quality. So now you can find you found the quantity, now you can find the quality within the quantity. Whoo, say that 20 times fast, right? So now we can start focusing in. So I would encourage you to be more focused, because here's the thing. And for those of us who've been networking for years and decades, right? Some of us have been networking for decades. We know lots of people, you know. So what we want to do is we want to get more strategic, because those relationships are going to give more bang for the buck, right? So they're going to be poised to help us more, and we can help them more, right? So yes, let's get more strategic on who you're meeting with. And if you've got the time, then keep going out there and meeting as many people so you can find more of those key quality people and find the people you really want to build referral relationships with. Okay, so we're going to talk more about identifying those people and creating those relationships. Is that helpful? Yeah. I think
And Miley, could I add something?
Yes, Deborah.
So in strategizing and being strategic, you mentioned that you had your accountability partner. We should all, it seemed like, strive to have accountability partners to make sure that we're sticking with our plan. And it just seems like all along the way, if there's someone who cares enough and has an interest in your growth as you may theirs, if you could be each other's accountability partner, that's going to help us as well stick to the game plan. Because in our businesses, we're always going to, when you're prioritizing, you always have the A's, B's, and C's.
Mhm,
And your A's are always going to take a priority.
mhm.
We need someone that's going to make sure that, and A's are probably going to be that client demand, but that's kind of in the middle of everything and in the trenches, if you think about it.
Mhm.
But you have to keep some of that other stuff that you might think is a B compared to the A when it's a client. But you have to keep the flow of your renewed referrals coming in. And so to keep us from getting caught in our businesses from just saying, well, I need to just focus here if I have to make a choice, but maybe have somebody be accountable for helping us manage our calendars in a way that we can recognize and understand that we need the combination of both. To keep our
Absolutely.
clients, we need the accountability.
Absolutely. And one of the other things I would also put in your mind is, yes, clients are a priority, and a referral source, a referral partner can be an even higher priority than a client. Because if you have a referral source or referral partner who is going to send you hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business, right? Or even millions of dollars of worth of business, depending on your business, that meeting can definitely supersede because it can bring in more of those clients, right? So that meeting can be a higher priority and more valuable because it's not just one client, it's a gateway to hundreds of clients or hundreds of thousands of dollars in your business or millions of dollars in your business, right? So there's also that. And so we want to find those people who are going to be that. So and I agree with having accountability and looking at, one of the things is mastering our calendar. And when we're mastering our calendar, it does a couple of things. It helps us focus on our priorities and making sure there's room for key things like meetings with your best referral sources and prospect appointments, things that we need to have, sales appointments in our calendar. It also, when we master our calendar, it also levels up our professionalism and our referability. When we are honoring our calendar and honoring our commitments and we show up, right, then we can earn those referrals because people know we are reliable, that we are professional, right? And I think where people get very disappointed is when someone isn't accountable to their calendar and doesn't show up for an appointment with us and, is kind of flaky and things like that. So we want to make sure that we are holding our appointments, being accountable to ourselves, to our calendar, and to the people we've committed to that, because that will only strengthen our referability and for other people to want to be referring us when they know they can rely on us to do what we say we're going to do. So if we're constantly rescheduling, not showing up, being late, just kind of being flaky. And unfortunately, I'm seeing it more and more in our culture that, and especially with RSVPing sometimes to events and to activities, because people are waiting like, well, I'm not going to commit unless I know at the very last minute something else doesn't come up. When we're building business through relationships, when you say, I'm not going to commit to that, it's saying you're not that important to me, right? And if you're trying to build that relationship, then that's not going to strengthen it, right? So one of the things I was talking about, I think at Certified Networker just yesterday, is busy is the enemy of relationships. And I know that everyone is busy. We all know everyone is busy, right? Especially if you live where, where there's a lot going on, I think everybody's busy, right? So busy is not a good thing to talk about, or it's not a good excuse. And when we say, oh, I'm busy, it can say you're not important, right? If I'm saying I'm too busy to spend time with you, then you're not important. So we want to be careful in how we're saying we're busy. You say, hey, I am booked out, but you're important. Let's find a time. It might be 4 weeks from now, but I want to make sure we get on the calendar because you're important. So remember, we're building relationship. So what we do matters. Okay. I think I saw David's hand up a while ago. David, do you have something that you wanted to say, or is that moment passed?
I think it's over.
Okay, sorry. I saw your hand go up and then I remembered and then it went down. Anyways, okay. Awesome. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions about that? Did I kind of pound that a little bit? My hope for you is my hope for you is that we are on a path to be the next best version of ourselves and have the next best version of our business, right? And so sometimes we have to have a hard look at ourselves and say, hey, are my actions referable? Am I sabotaging that awesome referral relationship because I am not showing up the way that I need to for that person, right? To earn their trust and to earn that relationship and accountability. Okay, so we were talking about your referral network and the concentric circles, and we got as far as contact sphere. So how about we do this? I'm going to talk a little bit about power team and referral partnership, and then we're going to take like a 10-minute break. Does that sound like a good plan? Okay, so let's talk about this really quick so we can finish out the circle concept, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and dive into some other cool stuff. Okay, so once we identified contact sphere, now contact spheres are those professions, right? They could be. These are possible referral relationships that could be poised for us. Now, sometimes there are professions that seem like they would be complementary and seem like they could be a great referral partner for us, but they may have a totally different target market, right? Like you may be like focused on, new families, and that other person's talking about retirees. So it could be totally different in your target market. The other thing is that you just don't click, right? You're like, well, they could be, but I don't really jive with them. So the great thing is that that's why we want to keep networking and finding those key people who we really connect with and we love to hang out with, because the best referral relationships cross over and are both personal as well as professional. So we cross over from professional into that personal realm and we become friends, right? And we do things, besides just business things together. Okay. So we want to identify those people who are like, hey, I like this person. They're in the right contact sphere. They have a profession that's complementing me. They have a target market that crosses over with mine. Now we can bring them into that next rung, which is power team. Power team are those contact sphere professions where then you build a deeper relationship and you have that referral conversation to say, hey, Sean, I think we could be doing more referral business together, right? Would you like to work on that? And Sean says, yes. Heck yeah, that sounds great. And then we start having conversations around how we can really do that. And in your playbook, if you want a deeper understanding of really what you want to do with your power team and as we get into a referral partner, there's page 12 kind of goes into some of those activities and some of the conversations that you're going to want to have, and an understanding of who is a good fit for those relationships. So that power team relationship, and it can, and team, yes, can mean a lot of people, but in this sense, it's that team that you're making a team player, team partnership with that person. Okay. So it can be just two people, you and one other person, you've got a power team. Okay. So then that inner circle. So when you've been working together in that power team relationship for some time, right? And you're proactively working on referrals for each other, right? You're learning more about their business so you can talk better about them. You get to promote them at a higher level. You are bringing them up in conversation. You are passing referrals to them. They're passing referrals to you. And you get better at referring each other over and over. Then you can move into that referral partnership. So referral partner is someone that you have a trusted relationship with. They're in your contact sphere. You've been actively working on referrals with each other for some time, and it is proactive. You're proactively working on referrals for each other. It's reciprocal. So you're giving and receiving with that person, right? And then the thing that takes it usually from really a great power team person to that inner circle is when you get consistent, right? You've got that consistent referral passing. And that could be different for different professions. So some professions you may need a lot of referrals going back and forth, or sometimes it's, sometimes a really consistent referral partner might get you 6 really quality referrals in a year. And you're like, that is beautiful. So it depends on your business. Okay. And it depends on your relationship. And now what my experience has shown me is that most businesses and professions only need 4 to 8 great referral relationships that are in those inner 2 circles. They can be a power team or referral partnership. And with those 4 to 8 really great, well-developed referral relationships can have all the referrals you desire, right? So it's finding the right ones, developing them, and building that reciprocity. How cool is that? So I have friends that are like, I have a list of 100,000 people. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of people to connect with. I'm happy to have my handful. I mean, obviously I know a lot more people than that, but when you know that a majority of your business comes from a handful of sources, it gives you so much time back. It gives you focus. It gives you confidence, right? And it keeps you from overwhelm, which can happen so easily. All right, so we are due for a break. It is 2:15 on my clock. Let's take 10 minutes. Go take a comfort break, do what you need to do, and we'll be back again in 10 minutes.
Hi, Miss Smiley. Hi, Miss Ronnie. You're both muted.
Hey, Martha. I'm so sorry you had trouble getting
Yeah.
in. Did you find my
There,
email
Martha.
finally?
You know what I did? I sent it, the last email I sent had my son's stuff on it. And so that's what automatically loaded when I was loading the form. So it went to my son's email. So I had to interrupt the all important video game to get it.
Ah, that's right. That's right. I remember seeing that going,
Mondo the lad. Why would I do that? That was so silly. Whatever.
and
I
I
have
just
it now.
copied and pasted from
I have
the.
it now.
Okay, good.
Martha, where are you these days?
Simi Valley.
Oh, okay. I think
Very-
Bonnie told me that.
Yeah. Very close to the Ronald Reagan Library. Not that I've
Okay.
gone, but it's there.
Mhm. And that's right near where my college best friend lives.
You should come visit.
I should.
You could knock out two birds with one stone.
Absolutely.
That's one way to think of it. Birds and stones.
Well, all right.
Carol, how are you doing? What do you think so far?
I'm doing well. So I do have a question.
Okay.
I like you were talking about reciprocity before. I have somebody who just did me a business favor, and she's in real estate, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, and I don't live in the same state. So who's a good type of referral partner for a realtor that I could maybe help her, line her up with, or suggest to her or something?
Do you have people that you know where she lives?
A few, because I used to live there,
Oh,
but
okay.
I've kind of gotten out of touch with some. I mean, I don't have a lot of contact anymore with people like in neighborhoods that might be buyers or sellers.
Right. But you can maybe connect her with another referral source or referral partner potentially.
Yeah.
So for realtors, great connections for them are estate planning attorneys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That is so absolutely true.
You can ask my mom. Have you met my mom, Ronnie? She is a top producing realtor, and her number one referral source is an estate attorney.
wow.
Yes.
Chiming in on that, I have recently discovered estate planning councils, and most geographic areas have an estate planning council. So there's an estate planning council Diablo Valley, an estate planning council Tri-Valley, estate planning council on the peninsula. So there may be an estate planning council where your friend lives, and that's a great way to meet estate planning attorneys.
Wow, thank you. That's a great.
Carol, remind me where you are in the world.
I am in Oklahoma City, and I was in Michigan for 20 years, and that's where she is.
Okay. Okay. Michigan. Big state. So where in Michigan were you? You're gonna show me? I've met a few people from Michigan.
You know it, huh? The Detroit, Metro Detroit, Ann Arbor area.
Okay.
Southeastern.
Awesome. Very good.
I always know that somebody has known someone from Michigan if they ask that. Exactly.
So for those of you who don't know anyone from Michigan, oftentimes if they're from Michigan, they'll show you on their hand because Michigan looks like a hand. And then they could just go, I'm here.
Yep.
Like
And that kind of excludes the UP, the Upper Peninsula. It just is the lower Michigan, but
right.
hand, but it's what people use all the time.
Yeah. Awesome. Did everyone have a good, nice little comfort break? Back, energized, ready to go.
Yeah, I
Right.
supported the Olympic ceremony, opening ceremony, which I always love.
Oh, very nice. Okay. So, I have so many thoughts, so many things I want to share with you. So the next thing, I think we were talking about mindset, and we were talking about the long game, and you know, having that long-term vision. And we were also talking about the law of reciprocity. And one of the things we kind of got in conversation with along the way, which is a key point in mindset, is relationship, right? So having the mindset of relationship. And there's a different mindset when we're looking at relationship than when we're looking at transaction, right? And if we have that mindset of relationship, I think it can shift our just our presence and our purpose when we are in those environments. If we're thinking relationship versus business or transaction, or, you know, gotta get, right? If we just think relationship and just ease ourselves into it. So here's what I want to do. I want everyone to take a deep breath. All right, everyone breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And one more time, because there's power in threes. And breathe in and breathe out. Now, this did not just turn into a different kind of retreat, but I think it's important to, you know, be present in your own body, because when we're building relationship, we need to be present for other people. And if we don't have a sense of presence with ourselves, it's hard to have a sense of presence for other people. So as we're working on building these relationships, we need to have that presence so we can listen, right? So that we can remember their name when they say it to us. Okay. One of the things, you know, people say often is, I have such a hard time remembering names. Well, on Zoom, it's so much easier because you each have your name on your box. But back when we were in person, it was a little bit more challenging. But I always said, I'm going to wave a magic wand, and you are all now great at remembering names. But one of the secrets to it is having that presence, and the focus, the mindset is on relationship. So if we're in relationship, then I know your name, right? So we want to have that presence so we can listen, so we can take in what they're sharing with us, so we can retain that information, so we can be a better person in their network, right? So we can be more helpful to them if we're paying attention. So there's a lot that we can do with taking that time to have our own presence and being able to be present for other people, right? We need to be present for them. And there's so many things that they're telling us, and not just in a specific referral conversation or a specific networking event, although it's very useful. And yes, we're talking about that context, and it's just good practice as a referral minded person to have that presence, to listen, to take in the information and get the clues from that person you're talking to. Because you can be talking, you can say, you know, I need a 10-minute walk, so I'm going to go walk outside, and you may run into a neighbor and you may have a nice friendly little chat. Well, if we're referral minded, we're going to be present and we're going to talk to them, and it may not be at all about business, but they may bring something up in conversation that, because we're we're present, we're like, I'm standing in the middle of a referral, right? Because we have that presence to go, oh, they're having an issue with something, and I have someone in my network that can help them with that. I wonder if that would be something they'd be interested in. I wonder if I can make that connection and make their life easier and help my friend with a potential client. Okay. So these moments happen in life as well as in our purposeful networking and referral generation activities. Okay. So there are skills that we are building as we build our referral business, our business through referrals. So there's knowledge, which you're here and soaking in a lot of knowledge this weekend, right? So there's knowledge, but as we all kind of know, we can have all the knowledge, but knowing something and doing it are two different things, right? But the first step is knowledge. So we want to take in that knowledge. We want to build our skill, because referral marketing has skills. We need to increase our listening skills, right? There's the skills of being able to speak about other people's business, not just our own business. We have to have build the skill of speaking about our own business and introducing ourselves in an effective way. But we also want to be able to share about other people in their business and some of the other things that we're going to talk about. There's skills involved in that. So we want to have the knowledge, the skill, and the strategy, right? And know that strategic plan. And then we can practice, we can implement, and we can work towards mastery. Right. So there's a process here. Okay. So let's go over the 8 elements. And so we have an overview of what we're going to be covering. So number 1 is foundations. And we've already been doing foundations. So foundations are that mindset, it's our agreements. And one of the things I'll say about agreements is, yes, we have this agreement of how we're going to be here, but we also have agreements with ourselves, right? So have you ever said to yourself, I'm going to be early at this meeting, or I'm going to get up and do 20 minutes of yoga, right, before I start my day, right? Or whatever it is, right? And then what happens when we hit the snooze button, we don't do our yoga, and then we're late to the meeting, right? We broke an agreement with ourselves. And here's what that does. It chips away at our own self-confidence, because we weren't holding the number one, we weren't honoring the number one person in our life, right? So it's just something to think about, is what agreements do you have with yourself, and how can you set some agreements that and hold those? Because when you hold them, when you get up and you do that 20 minutes of yoga and you're early to the meeting, then how do you feel? You're ready to take on the world. You're I am on my A game. I have got this all under control. I am ready for everything, right? So it just builds our own confidence. And when we do that, it creates an energy that is attractive to other people, right? Confidence, if you know anything about sales is about confidence. Well, the first sale we're making is to that referral source to refer us, right? That in our referral context, that sale that we're making is to that referral source that they want to refer us. Okay, so when we have that boost of confidence, then we're more likely to earn that referral. Because they're like, that's the one I can refer. Okay, so foundations. So foundations are a lot of what we've been talking about, mindset, just understanding the concept of your referral network and networking for referrals and building strategic referral relationships, kind of setting those foundational platforms, right? That foundation for having a successful referral marketing strategy. Then the second piece is you. And that's you, because you are your brand. When people don't tend to refer businesses, right? You don't say, hey, go to Walnut Creek Honda. You say, hey, go see Zach at Walnut Creek Honda, right? So people tend to refer people, not businesses, and you are your brand. And that's who people are referring. So you, and it's also about your messaging, right? You is about your messaging and about having your vision and your mission and having your pieces, your part of your business on how you are in your business and what you're working towards for your business. So some clarity around that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. I go much deeper in some of the you pieces in the leadership URL retreat, because we kind of dive really deep in what we call the emotionally charged connection, which is your emotional connection to why you do what you do and why you're uniquely designed to serve the clients that you really connect with, because there is an emotional connection there. And I know there are several people in this room who've been through that process. And we're not going to go through the ECC process here, the emotionally charged connection. But if you want to find out more about that, we can talk about that. But it's a game changer. Would anyone want to speak to that? Want to share a little bit? Martha?
Finding out your emotionally charged connection really is the game changer. It is why it is your superpower. It's discovering what about you makes you attract other people. It is magic, and going through it with Miley is magic. There is nothing that touches your emotionally charged connection. In terms of, if you think about Apple, right? Apple doesn't give you, hey, I've got this new phone and it's really cool. It gives you the why behind Apple, right? What it's going to do for you, which in the emotionally charged connection really supercharges that, like the energized bunny, and makes it all emotionally connected and flocks people to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is. It's really.
I'd like to add something.
Yeah, Deborah, go ahead.
And so, my experience is that what I find is that it humanizes you. So when you, and again, Miley helped me with that exercise as well in trying to figure out how to bring about my emotionally charged connection with people. Because if you're speaking without the emotion and you do not tell your story, which tends to be the basis for that emotionally charged connection, then you don't have that opportunity to connect with somebody who might otherwise be willing to connect with you on a referral basis because you have similar experiences. And so I appreciated, you said we're not going to share that here now, but I just in general would like to say that it's something that is of great value, and it would be great for everyone to have the same opportunity that I know that I've had with it.
Thank you, Deborah. it gives you a different sense of purpose and clarity in your personal value. And then you can have that great clear message to connect with the referral sources and the clients that are going to be the easiest to work with because they connect with you on that emotional level. So when you make an emotional connection, it connects, it's a higher level value, and it differentiates you from everyone else. So if you're in a profession where there's lots of people who do what you do, that emotional connection is the differentiating factor, right? A lot of people say, here's what I do, and then they use, here's how I do it as a differentiator, right? But if we're like, I have great customer service, okay, well, you're not referable if you have sucky customer service, right? If you're, so it's not really a differentiating factor. We still expect a level of customer service, but really it's the why you do what you do, why it's your purpose, and that unique value you bring to what you do. It's powerful. Yes. So we can talk a little bit more about that. So the 8 elements. Number 1 is foundations. Number 2 is you. Okay. Includes your emotionally charged connection, your mission, your vision. And then number 3 is your target market. When any kind of marketing you're doing, you need to know who you're marketing towards, right? Because you want to have your efforts, your messaging, your relationships and your network need to have connections. All needs to be connected to your target market. Okay, so we need to know what that is in order to build the right relationships, build the right connections, and have the right marketing message towards them, and network in the right places. Okay. Number 4 is your people. So we've already started talking about that. Who's in your network? And then who are the specific referral relationships that you're going to focus on? And there's a lot more to that, and we're going to continue to talk about that. But your people is definitely key. So that's number 4. Number 5 are your activities. So your activities are the things like we were talking about, the networking events and the one-to-ones and the relationship builders. In our certified networker program, we have what we call a networking scorecard, right? So we have this networking scorecard, and on here are activities. These are relationship building activities, and they're relationship building activities and giving activities that when you do these activities consistently, you receive referrals, right? So it's knowing what to do and doing them strategically so you can get the referrals that you want. And that is part of what several of you were asking about, is how do we develop those relationships? So that is a lot of those activities, so we can build that relationship, do the things that build a relationship over the time. And then number 6 is equipping your people. So that is training them how to refer you business, but it's also how are we rewarding our referral sources and all of those kinds of things. So that goes into a little bit more of strategic conversations we're having with them, and really even greater depth of that referral relationship. Okay. And then number 7 is supporting your referral marketing. Okay. So, my focus has always been referrals, and I'm on social media. I do speaking events. There are other things that we do to be in business and to market our business, right? That supports our referral marketing efforts, because our referral team wants to help us and they want to refer us, But if we have nothing on social media for them to share, they have fewer tools that they can access to help you. Okay, so there's other things we can do to support our referral marketing and do what I call referify it. Right, we can referify these other activities so they work in our referral marketing plan. And then number 8 is our referral marketing plan. So putting all the pieces together, having a cohesive plan, knowing what we're going to do, who we're going to talk to, what we're going to say, and what we're going for and how we're going to get there. And of course, like with most business plans, it's a working, living, breathing plan, right? So we're in action and we're always in motion on it, and we're always tweaking it and adding to it and working on it, developing it as we go. Okay. All right, so any questions? I mean, that's a brief overview. We're going to dive deeper in all of those, but now you have the big picture. Okay, so we've got a referral network that we're looking at. Who can we bring towards the inner circle? We've got our 8 elements of what makes a great referral marketing strategy and a referral marketing plan. And we know that we're focused on relationship, law of reciprocity, and the different mindset pieces so we can get there. Next thing I want to do is do a little bit more in you. So we're going to move from foundations into you. And part of that, we talked a little bit about the vision. So one of the things to look at tonight when you are away from the computer maybe and having a moment to kind of just ponder things is you can look at that vision on page 6 and 7 and look at what you want to be working on for yourself in your business and having that focus. And then on, let's see, what page is it on? Let me give you the page number. On page 11, at the top of the page, oh, I had it right in front of me. So if you're in the PDF, it's actually page 12, but at the bottom, so the cover page doesn't have a number to it. So anyways, you guys get it, right? So the first question on here is, what is one word that best describes you? What's your best business characteristic? Okay. So if there was a word that you feel best describes you, that you would want someone else to say, hey, you know, Desiree is a giver, right? Or whatever it is. So pick your word. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to have some time to build a relationship. So we're going to go in breakout rooms. You can share your word and why that is important to you. Okay. So let me put us in some breakout rooms. Okay, so my word I would say is reliable. Did you learn some great things about other people?
Yes.
And so one of the, what's that? So one of the things with our word is I said it's your best business characteristic, and you want to think about what you personally bring to the table. What is your characteristic that you bring to business, right? It's you, right? Because that's what we're talking about. You, right? It's not, oh, my company's been around for so many years, or, this or that. It's what is your personal value that you bring, and it's part of your core values, probably, right? Is that word that is what you bring. That's a great characteristic. So one of the things is to notice what other people's word is, right? And those are some of their strengths. And this is also a great way to learn to talk about other people, right? So if I'm going to talk about Mika, I'm going to say she's very collaborative. Like Mika is collaborative. And yet, guess what? Mika is so collaborative that I didn't need her to tell me that word for me to know that about her, because I know Mika, right? So it's something that exemplifies you. And when we're talking about building our referral relationships and being strategic with the referral marketing, when we can put a word to it and help our referral sources by understanding that word and pointing it out, then it's easier for them. So now they know, oh yeah, that is a great word for you. Like, who was in a breakout with someone that they already knew and said, yeah, that is a great word for you. That's what I said when I heard Mika's word. Yes, that is you. And like, I got that response when I said I'm reliable, right? So cool. Did you meet some good people? Are you having good conversations? Okay, so when you're in the breakouts, I want you to use that time to get to know each other, ask some questions. So one of the things about building relationship is asking questions and being curious. One of the best ways to be interesting is to be interested, right? Is to be interested in them. Like, who are you? And you know, I want to get to know you. And when we're interested, it shows that we care, and we like being around people who want to know us, don't we? Right? So we can build that trust and that relationship. Okay. Okay. So other things is mission and vision. So here's why a mission and vision is important for you in your referral marketing. First of all, it's a foundational piece of any business. You need to have a vision to know where you're going. You need to have a mission. That's your compass that says, this is who we are. This is what we value. This is who we serve. And this is how we do it, right? So having that vision, it says where you're going, and that mission, that is that compass that guides you and says we're on track, is really important. Here's what it does in referral world, okay, is when you are building a relationship, people are attracted to people who have forward movement. They have energy, they have positivity, they have growth. That growth feeling and energy is attractive, right? And when you have a vision and when you have a mission, you have more certainty in who you are and where you're going, and you have a purpose. And you don't have to say to people, here's my vision and blah 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 blah, and here's my mission, and then da, 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 right? We don't have to tell them our vision, our mission verbatim, because when we have it for ourselves and we have it behind us and in us, we project an energy that says, oh. And when someone's like, hey, what's going on in your business and what's happening, and tell me something good, you have something to talk about, right? Or I'm excited about this aspect, I'm doing this, like, you know, I'm moving towards that. And we have that energy, and that energy is attractive. Okay. So I've talked to a lot of people over the years, right? And I'll talk to one insurance person. I'll be like, hey, so tell me, you know, what's going on in your business? How are you? Oh, well, you know, it's insurance. right? And then you talk to another person, they're like, oh, I've done this and I'm doing this and I'm so excited about this. You're like, oh my gosh, that person is referable, right? So when we have that purpose, it creates an energy that is attractive, right? People want to be around people who are going somewhere and they're positive and they're growing. Okay. Or at least the people that I want to be around. So you can decide for yourself if you want to be around the stick in the mud people. But I think for business and for growth and all of that, that's what we want to have. So if you haven't worked on your vision, if you haven't worked on your mission, those are some components to put to have a better certainty about you that will project a better referral image towards others by having that clarity and confidence for yourself. And then the other thing that is a part of you is your image. Okay, let's talk about your image. All right, so who here has suit pants on or like right? Okay, the cool thing about being on Zoom is we only have to have the image from here up, but that's only one part of our image, right? Sure, image is that outer brand, that recognition, that that type of thing, but it's also your website. It's also is your branding consistent, right? Is it giving the same message, right? If I have a brand, or if I'm like putting all my marketing material on out there and I'm saying one thing, right? And then I show up and it's like, well, that's not congruent, right? People will be like, right? So we want to look at, is our brand congruent? And what are the things that we can do? Now, when we are networking and building referral relationships, we are our brand, right? People are referring us. So we want to look at, how am I showing up? Am I positive, right? Do I have the right? That part of the image is how you're showing up, right? Do I, do I walk my talk, right? And, all those things. So I've been talking a lot, and I'm sure other people have some opinions about image and what you do to help keep your brand consistent, and what you find referable in other people and how they keep their brand consistent. And when I talk about brand, I'm talking about you as well as the marketing materials. So who has some thoughts they'd like to share on this? Right. So Gurjeet, you have that question. Do you want me to answer your question? Okay, so what is the role in your appearance when you talk about image? So what I find is you want to appear professional. I think you want to appear professional, but you're also dressing for your occasion. Okay, so I'm not wearing my business suit when I go golfing with Mika. Okay, I'm wearing golf attire. Okay, it's appropriate. Okay, I'm dressing for the occasion, but I'm going to try and look, put together, enough. Right. So it's one of the things, especially when we're in person and we go to, say, a business networking event. So say you go to the chamber meeting, you go to some business networking event, whatever that is for you. What I find is important is to dress as the business owner, not the technician. Okay, so dressing as the business owner right? And dressing for the type of client that you want. Okay. So it does depend on your business somewhat, but I have seen contractors and tradespeople show up in suits. And you're like, wow, that's a business person. They must. So what does that project? They're running their business like a business versus the other tradesperson or contractor that shows up with, fresh off the work site and a disheveled shirt and, caked in dust and whatever, right? Right. Because I'm sure, if they were coming to the business meeting, they need to dress for the business meeting. Okay. There's always exceptions to the rule and all of that. But as a general rule of thumb, I've been in business environments where someone's walking in the door and the person next to me is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe so-and-so is here. I have been looking to book an appointment with them. I've been, they're hot on my list of people who I want to meet with. I wish I didn't dress in jeans and kind of casual today, right? Because they want to make a good impression to that person. So you never know who's going to walk into the room. So dress to the business that you want and dress as the business owner is always a good policy. But it can be a polo shirt with your logo on it. There's variations within that, right? And Gurjeet, I know you're in a different area. Are you in Canada? Where are you?
Yeah, Canada, British Columbia.
British Columbia.
And what I feel is many people, the saying that people judge a book by its cover is so true. And so the first impression that you make is what they carry away with you. But I found that sometimes, that's not always true, because if they do get a chance to interact with you, then they walk off with a different impression. But the first impression definitely counts.
Absolutely. So I agree with that. I mean, I think we want to do our best to make a good first impression within reason. And because we have the relationship mindset, we want to give people grace, right? And we want to find out more, right? Because it could be just that day, it could be whatever. And it was more important for them to be there. And with all the life things that happen sometimes, that's how they're going to show up that day, but they showed up, right? So there's always those circumstances. So when we can, I always think it's good to make a good impression. And it's not just in our appearance in, yes, I've got hair and makeup and jewelry, but it's, am I prepared? Am I paying attention? Am I participating? Right? Am I acting professionally? Who am I being? Right? That is an image. And what we do can speak louder than anything else. Right? All right, Deborah has her hand up. Deborah, did you want to say something?
I did.
Okay.
It seems like for me nowadays that there's a disconnect between generations and what's considered professional dress image and their view about it. I heard a lot of young people, and I've stuck with the same image. I tend to, and if I'm in the office by myself all day, I'm coming in with a and jacket and shirt, and I've done that forever, and that's what I continue to do, and it's the image that I want to portray. But my younger people, they think it's a bit much. And I'm on the same page you're on this, Miley, but I don't know what is this? Are we ancient in our thought process about this? I still believe it is. I believe that people, I consult with taxes and I prepare taxes. And I think that people want to see something that looks professional, that's handling and that's not sloppy in their appearance. But these young people believe that that's antiquated thinking and that these people don't care anymore. I just don't know what to think about that. I'd like to chime in because
Okay.
it's hard for me to change that because I wholeheartedly believe.
Okay, so Anna, do you have a response to that, or you had something else you wanted to say?
I do have a response to that, Deborah, and my response, especially as a younger person, and I have a story to share about when I first started working. I think the difference in perspective that you're seeing is, well, I can wear whatever I want because people have to accept me the way I am, versus a mentality that I need to dress a certain way because I want to inspire confidence in other people. I think that the attention is it on me or is it on other people? And let me share with you something that I discovered right out of college. And I mean, here it's a Friday afternoon and I'm in my comfortable sweatshirt. So my actions are belying my words here. But my first job out of college, I was an elementary school teacher. And I noticed very quickly the difference. I was living in a very small town in the Southwest when I was in work attire, so professional, so business casual. And I went, to the grocery store or anywhere. Strangers, people that I didn't know, would refer to me as ma'am. But if I was in jeans and a t-shirt, people who didn't know me would refer to me as honey. Oh, hi, honey. How you doing this afternoon? Right? And it's like, well, I know how I prefer strangers to call me. So let's, so I'm going to dress a certain way because that's the reaction that I want. And then now that I am in financial services, another aspect is I need to inspire trust very quickly, and dressing a certain way is a very easy way to do that. So that's my perspective on it.
And
Yep. Martha, you have something to
maybe
add?
we just have to do as business owners.
Yeah, Miley. So it's interesting. I've been through any number of iterations of profession. When I was an attorney and went to court, I was in the pantsuit. And I was scolded by the judge and told the next time I appeared in his court, I damn well better have on a skirt and hose and heels. I found that a bit offensive, but from there on out, that's what I wore. I find that and I'm 60, so I find that the younger generation, there are some who are sharp, professional, and ready to go, and I can find them highly referable, right? I can refer that. I have a dear friend who wears a misshapen t-shirt every day. All of his pictures are in it. It's way too big. It doesn't fit. There is nothing about it that is attractive. And I find that I really struggle to refer him. I really struggle with that because I don't want to be associated with that image. That is not an image that I will embrace. So I'm not sure that it's generational as much as it's style, or not knowing that image is important, or not caring. And that's okay. They don't have to care. It just means that I'm not going to be their referral partner.
Right. Yeah. Deborah, did you want to say one more thing?
It sounds like, from listening to perspectives, that I, as a business owner and potentially other business owners, just do a better job of being a better educator about image to our young people to help them understand it. Because it's about the client and the image and the trust. And maybe we ought to get them out of the mindset of this is old school thinking, but this is actually applicable in current times, that this is something that image is important, and then give them descriptions or examples of images. So I may not have done as good of a job now that I'm listening to it at training them on why image is important. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you. Good aha. Carol, what would you like to share?
So do you think it is necessary to wear like a blazer when you are out at a chamber meeting or wherever you're networking, as opposed to a sweater, decent looking sweater or something? Because what I hear from the younger people is nobody wears blazers anymore. Now, obviously that's not true because you're wearing one, but you know, it's their perception that nobody wears them. And I'm like, well, I mean, part of my target market is 30-year-olds and part of it is 50-year-olds. So, you know, how important is it to wear a blazer, not wear a blazer, or whatever?
I think it's, well, first of all, I kind of like fashion and I see a lot of blazers coming back. So just a heads up on fashion that I've been paying attention to. But that being said, I think it's more important to look put together, right? Versus what type of piece of clothing you're wearing, and to know your environment. So one of the things that I teach is the yeah, Desiree said no blazer in Hawaii. Yep. You gotta dress for the you gotta dress for the environment, right? The culture. So when we are you know what am I trying to say? So I think it's more important to be put together and looking put together than it is in wearing a blazer or wearing a sweater. If it's a nice sweater, right, and you're put together and you know look sharp, I think it's okay, and it's an environment. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So one of the things I teach is behavioral styles, the DISC. There's go-getters, there's promoters, there's nurturers, there's examiners. There's these different behavioral styles, right? And they have different values. They have different motivations. They have different perspectives of where they're coming from. Some are more task-oriented, others are more people-oriented and whatnot. And there's certain businesses and professions that attract different behavioral styles from time to time. And I think when someone else mentioned is there's different industries. So pre-pandemic, I had a speaking engagement for a commercial real estate group, a networking group, right? So there were bankers there were architects, there were commercial real estate, commercial brokers, finance people, those kinds of people there. What do you think the attire was for that event? Okay. I wore the red suit. I wore my pearls. I stuck out my hand and gave a really hard, really strong handshake and said, "Hi, I'm Miley Colmer," because that was the environment. Okay.
Yep.
The very, next week I spoke at a continuing education for massage therapists. Okay. I wore a soft pink sweater set. Okay. So, because I needed to be more approachable, right? So with the finance and commercial people, right? They find trust in a suit, right? And the massage people find trust in a sweater set. So know your audience, right? And if you don't know the audience, then be you in front of the clients that you want to attract, right? What is going to attract your client, and just be put together, right? So now, I mean, we've got some younger folk on here as well, like Jay. He's got a nice colored shirt on. Do you have anything to share with us, Jay?
Yeah. So, God, where to start? My background, I spent 7 years in the surf industry. I was actually shaping surfboards. While I was doing that, I was also helping other small businesses. I wasn't doing this full time, but I was helping them with their photos and videos so that they can start marketing and branding themselves. For me, my approach, seeing the duality between the more relaxed style of approaching different industries, and let's say BNI, going to BNI first thing in the morning where everyone's wearing a suit or a button up. It's very easy to weed out the people that you will relate to. So for me, typically I wear a t-shirt or a tank top and board shorts. This right here, obviously I knew this was a different environment. So I put on a shirt, but I think that's a lot of what the younger generations, I feel like I'm older now, even though I know I'm a kid. I feel like that's what a lot of the younger generations are doing right now, is they're figuring out different ways of relating to people that they would be interested in talking to. So it's the same conversation, just on the other side of the coin. So instead of weeding people out that are just, they're wearing that offset shirt, and you want to go after someone that's wearing a vest or a blazer or just a little bit more put together. I don't know, kids my age, kids younger especially, are finding people that are communicating through their clothes a little bit more from a personal perspective. So case in point, I'm working with a couple festival promoters that work nationwide. They don't wear suits or blazers unless they actually go to meetings with potential investors. Most of the time they're wearing that loose off-sized shirt that's double XL. And people in that industry typically relate with the person that dresses like that, because it's more the culture. So yeah, that's the summary of my input on that.
So, and I just want to point out the fact that Jay knew that he was coming to a more business focused environment. And I think I take it as a sign of respect. Like, he put on a shirt because he values the relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I take from that.
Yeah, it's based on what you want to get out of that interaction. So if you want something a little bit more relaxed, case in point, Miley and I have talked about, I have family in California. I have sisters just north of San Francisco. I really do want to connect personal one-on-one, like grab drinks, whatever, and just get to know each other a little bit better. But in that setting, you'll probably see me in a long sleeve and jeans. Like, it's super relaxed. So I think once you put your first foot forward in the right manner, depending on obviously the room that you're in, I think it's a little bit more acceptable to dress how you normally dress. So
yeah, if we're going to grab beers and be social, that's a different attire. I can take off my jacket and,
but you're still running business at the same time. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It's a different setting. So,
and that's one of the benefits of building relationship, is because when people know who you are, right, then we can be a little bit more relaxed. Carol, did you have anything else that you wanted to share? I see your hand still up.
No, I think I'm good. I appreciate what Jay said too. I think that's all good input.
Awesome. Okay, so can you believe it's already 3:37 in my time? And so I want to kind of talk a little bit about tomorrow and wrap things up for today, and let us all have a nice little Friday evening before we really do some really awesome work tomorrow. So here's some of the things that coming up. We're going to really dive more into, you know, who are we networking with, how to find the right networks, where are we networking, you know, what are those perfect relationship, or not perfect, because nothing's perfect, right? We're human. Those imperfect, perfect, great referral relationships. How do we develop those? What are some of the actions we can take? You know, how do we get this referral train going, right? And putting some you know, real actionable things in place so we can really drive those relationships. So we're going to dive into a little bit more on, you know, who we're talking to, some strategies on building the relationship, and some really great things around that. So we are starting tomorrow, 10 a.m. Yes, 10 a.m. Pacific time, California time. So wherever you are, what that means to you, hopefully you can understand what that is. And I did want to share just a little bit about my story and how I got into what I'm doing. So some of you who don't know me as well can have a little bit more context about why I'm so passionate about this and what we're doing here today. So, you know, growing up, I was not a natural networker. Okay. I was super shy. I was introverted. I was a huge bookworm. And so I was more often reading and definitely not, you know, big at speaking. So there's a lot of talking for me. Right. So, I'll always remember, so we lived in Hawaii when I was a kid. My parents met in Hawaii, and that's how I got a Hawaiian name. And when I was a kid, we moved from Hawaii to California, and I had to start in a new school. And I just remember having all those butterflies in my stomach and the flip-flops, and feeling so self-conscious, feeling alone, feeling like an outsider, afraid that no one would talk to me, and even more afraid if they did talk to me, what would I say and how would I connect? So one of the ways that I grew out of my shyness was by joining groups and teams. And I got really involved in competitive dance. And in college, I was in a performing arts group. We toured all over the US, Canada, even did a small European tour one year. And I performed in front of tens of thousands of people, shy little me, right? So what I learned was, when I teamed up with other people who had similar goals, similar values, similar work ethic, I could go further than I ever imagined on my own. So after graduating from college, I went into the business world. I went right into residential real estate sales as business partners with my mom. She's here. Want to wave, Mom? Hi, Mom. She's a top producing realtor. And I joined my mom in her real estate business. So I went right into sales right out of college. And this was a few years ago, number of years ago. And this was before everyone had cell phones. And I learned cold calling, right? So my first broker gave me a crisscross directory so I could call everyone on it was a phone book listed by street address. So I could call everyone on Pine Street and say, hey, you want to sell your house? Hey, you want to sell your house, right? I learned cold calling and door knocking and all those direct prospecting activities. And great learning experience, great experience to have. Sales is such a great great life experience to handle all that rejection. It's like takes a lot of self-development, personal development. But someone told me, you should go network. And I said, okay. So I went to a chamber mixer, very crowded, very busy, right? And there, like when I first walked in, I kind of had the butterflies a little bit, but I was like, oh, I know what to do. I'm going to build my business team like I had my dance team and my debate team and all those things. So I started building those relationships. And I started learning everything I could about building business through relationships and referrals. And I ended up starting my BNI chapter and all of that. And it took me to the top 5% of realtors here in the San Francisco Bay Area by implementing these referral strategies. And without having to do the cold calling and all of that direct prospecting, and just getting to meet amazing, great people who are my friends, people who we do fun things together. It's not just business all the time. It's, I like to go wine tasting and wine drinking, right? I like wine tasting, I like golfing, and we get to do these fun activities and build relationship and build business together. And it's so much more fun to do business that way, in my opinion, than all the cold prospecting. And even all the, stuff on nowadays online, right? I much rather build a relationship. And here's the, as someone who was shy, I still am inherently shy. I didn't have natural people skills. The great news is that it's all learnable and it's enjoyable and it's rewarding, because it feels great to help other people. It feels great to give. It feels great to know incredible people. And I see each person on the screen, and you are someone that I absolutely am so excited that you're here and that I get to know you better. And some of you I already know really well, but that there's a different quality of life in that. So I encourage you to have a vision for the type of people who you want to surround yourself with. What type of people do you want in your personal inner circle network? What type of people will inspire you? What type of people are going to send you amazing business and you get to enjoy that friendship at the same time? It's a different lifestyle, right? Where we can go play golf and we can get great business, or whatever it is you could do. Maybe I'll go back to my surf days and hit a surfboard with Jay someday. Maybe, I don't know. It's been a lot of years since I've been on a surfboard. But that's the enjoyment of life, and learning about different people and hearing their story and learning from each other. And there's great experiences when we meet different people with different backgrounds and different experiences and different interests, and it just brings a richness to life, in my opinion. And if we can create a business environment where we care about each other, we lift each other up, we support each other, we cheer each other's successes, that's the type of environment I want to be a part of. And one of those values that I want to create is a inclusive environment where everyone is included and welcomed. Because that shy little girl, when I walk into a room, I'm still wondering, will I be accepted? Right? Will you like me? Right? And I'm sure some of you feel that way too. So one of the great things we can do is we can make other people feel welcome and find out about them and build that relationship and let them know we care. So tomorrow we're going to dive deeper. We're going to do some amazing things. We have a little bit of time left. I'd love to hear any ahas or thoughts, what you're excited about, anything that you're taking away from our session today. I'd love to hear that. Go ahead and share while I get this. David Bellinger.
I'll go ahead and share.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, I mean, one of the things that is, that you kind of need to be constantly reminded about, or at least I do, is making sure that you're focused on developing the relationships. And I have a lot of those relationships that are, that move forward, that I've built over time, but but there is that part of, part of networking and building the relationship that you need to be focused on. And we touched on it earlier, that needs to be an ongoing focus. You need to come back and revisit it and, do the things, do the basics to get the results that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Relationships take maintenance, right? And here's the thing is when we keep them maintaining, it's so much easier, right? So if you're looking at who you're going to call, right? And you're looking at a list and you're like, oh, I haven't talked to that person in years. Okay, now I'm going to need to set aside some time, right? I'm like, I can't do a quick 15-minute call with them. I need to book an hour because we have a lot of catching up to do. But if it's like, oh, I just talked to that person last week or yesterday, we can have a quicker conversation. So it's actually becomes more efficient when we maintain our relationships. Any other thoughts, ahas? Anyone put anything on their item or action items or to-do list as a result of today? Yeah, Mom.
You know what? I need to redo my mission, which actually will be Jeff's and my vision. So I have to fly it by him, but I think it's talked about it. We do have a mission statement, but we really haven't put together a good, strong vision statement. And I think exactly what you're saying is so true, that it gives you energy and purpose more. When you had that up on the wall, that's where we're going. So that is one of the things that I'm going to be working on for sure.
Fantastic. Did anyone start thinking about, oh, I have this person, I've got some potential referral people I need to think about and reach out to. Good. We'll dive deeper into that. Dan, did you want to share something?
Yeah, the other day we were talking about this vision and mission stuff, and I thought I need to redo an update, blah, blah, blah. And so, and you know how you go to bed at night and all these things start. And I was like, I have this great big whiteboard and I've been using it for da-da-da, but I'm going to clean it all off and put the vision and the mission statement on there. So it's right there in front of my face. Why am I doing this? What am I doing every day? So I got the whiteboard clear. Now I just got to get it down and written on there. So thanks for inspiring me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other shares? Yeah, Desiree.
Yeah. So I'm connecting with a couple people in my contact sphere that could be possible referral sources. And one of them is James Wu on this call, because he's in my contact sphere as an employment law, and I'm HR. So, and I have somebody I can refer to him already. So, and I'm connecting with another insurance is also my contact sphere potential referral partners, because business insurance, because we administer, but we don't provide insurance, workers' comp, health insurance, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Yeah, and tomorrow we'll talk more about like those kinds of things, like who are you looking to meet, and how can we connect each other as well. Martha.
Yeah, I made a list of people in my network that I have not really nurtured very much in a while. And so I have a list of people that I want to reach out to with a card, just with something nice. Just saying, hi, I'm thinking about you, as well as a list of the people that I want to call and say, hey, let's connect again.
I love it. Yay. Okay. Anyone else want to share anything?
I'll share.
Yeah, Mika.
Yes, so just from the first day, I'm already inspired to revisit my list, my networks, and assign, sort of give me a deadline, because it's one thing to look at it, it's another to actually follow through. So I'm putting like time limits, I need to speak with certain people by this time. And also just from today, from the breakout session, I already scheduled a meeting with Martha Alexander for I think it's in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to connecting with the rest of you in the next couple of days.
Fantastic. Yeah, Mika is definitely a master connector, and I know Mika because of James, and Martha and James have a connection. So yeah, I love it. Okay, Deborah.
No, this is this accountability that I referred to, because I started right back in trying to make sure that I have connected with the people that I wanted to connect with, and had been thinking really hard about that during this meeting, and who is it that I can, that even I slowed down the relationship where it should have continued and where I need to pick it back up. And so this is what I call accountability. And so all good stuff.
Yeah, being in the discussion, keeping it the conversation going, and focused on what we want to be doing and who we want to do it with. Good. Susan, I haven't heard anything from you. Do you have anything you want to share?
Yes, I was just thinking, this is so great for me because, I've been through Certified Networker and Referrals for Life as well. And it reminds me that I haven't been doing what I learned. So to the full capacity. I mean, I'm doing it, but not as well to get the results that I want. So I'm inspired to start that up again and have a plan.
Yeah, oftentimes we don't need to learn new things. We just need to be reminded of what we already know.
So true.
And one of the great things about referral marketing is it's not rocket science. So it's not complicated. It's just kind of reminding us of things we already know, and then putting some additional, I mean, of course, I love strategies. So some additional strategies, and be a little more strategic about it and focused and on task, because that's kind of my jam, right? But yeah, just be thinking about these things that we know we need to do. Okay, Sean, love to hear from you.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you again. I think one of the things that was opening for me is the foundations piece and the agreements, and having agreements with myself, and holding myself accountable and certain things beyond just a professional level. I think they tie into it. And sometimes, as someone who's been in my role now in this company for 5 or 6 months, you sort of forget about your personal agreements and you sort of focus on that business agreement. And I think they tie so much closely together when you kind of forget about it. And so that's kind of my takeaway. It's like, all right, you do get confidence when you have your own personal goal set too.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. I'm glad. That's really good. Yeah. We are human beings, right? So we are not business bots, right? Like I say, don't be a business bot, right? We're not a business bot. We are human beings. So we need to have attention to ourselves so we can perform well in what we want to do and who we want to be. Okay. Any other last words?
I've got one.
Yeah, Carol.
So I moved to Oklahoma in the middle of COVID, and I didn't really take building a network very seriously because of obvious reasons. And so kind of my first reminder was, I got to get back out there in the world and mingle with people. And while I can practice my craft nationally on Zoom, I think the obvious place to start building a better network is right here at home. And so my takeaway immediately was, I'm going to join a couple of chambers and start getting out there and mingling with people.
I love it.
Thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's great to connect with your local chamber. I highly endorse your thoughts on that. Yeah, absolutely. So we're just about 3 minutes out till 4, and I will stick around as long as you want. We're going to go a couple minutes early, if that's okay with everyone. I'll see everyone 10 a.m. tomorrow. If you want to stick around, you want to hang out, ask me any questions, or just, talk whatever, cash, social, you're welcome to stay or you're welcome to go. And I'm excited that you're all here, and I'm excited for what more we're doing together. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Miley.
You're welcome.
I'm staying for happy hour.
All right.
I'm gonna stick
Of
around 'cause
course.
I have a question for you, Miley.
Yeah.